School leaders are drowning in bureaucracy while the real work of education gets lost. Every day, talented leaders pour hours into emails, disconnected systems, and paperwork that could be spent transforming student lives. We've accepted these inefficiencies as normal, but what if your leadership could focus entirely on what matters? When your systems fail you, your students pay the price. And the most innovative school leaders are realizing they don't have to accept this broken status quo anymore. In today's episode, I'm joined by my friend Demetrius Ball, and he reveals how intentional systems thinking and strategic decision making helped him become Administrator of the Year, while creating a school culture where students feel more connected than ever. But his journey isn't just about recognition. It's about radically reimagining what's possible when school leaders free themselves from administrative chaos. I'm Danny Bauer, and this is Better Leaders, Better Schools, the original Ruckus cast for visionary school leaders who want to do school different, even within traditional systems, so they create a campus experience worth showing up for. Thanks to Ruckus makers just like you, this show ranks in the top 1% of nearly 4 million worldwide podcasts. A little more about Demetrius. He's a dynamic leader focused on serving his family and community. He's a current principal of California High School. He's committed to creating a climate and school culture that is welcoming and inclusive for all students and staff. He sees strong relationships as the key to helping students and staff thrive. So once again, thanks for enjoying this show, and we'll be right back after a few messages from our show sponsors. Want to know how top schools create collaborative learning environments that actually work? ODP Business Solutions has equipped innovative educators for the last 3 decades. Visit odpbusiness.com/education and let's make a ruckus together. This episode is brought to you by our friends at Expressability. They are building AI tools that actually make school leadership easier. From secure AI-powered chatbots to time-saving automation, they're helping districts work smarter, not just harder. Want to be your district's hero? Visit K12ability.com. That's K12ability.com. If you could differentiate instruction in 20 minutes or less, would you do it for your students? Well, you can with IXL. Over 1 million teachers use IXL because it empowers them to use effective data-informed instruction. Get started today at ixl.com/leaders. All right, Demetrius, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. It's great to be with you again, Danny.
Yeah. How many times have you been on the podcast?
I think this will make 3, possibly.
Oof. That's legendary status then, because,
Better.
very few people make 2. 3 is unheard of. So,
wow.
You're certainly one of my favorite ruckus makers. That must be why.
I appreciate it. I'll do anything you need me to, Danny. You've been such a key component to my leadership journey. So I am really appreciative of the opportunity to come back.
I appreciate that. And we're going to talk about some of your wins, and we'll get to that maybe a little later in the episode. I want to start off. You've made a few comments. You've been in the mastermind for a long time, and then now we have this app, right? This community, and so we'll have posts on there. I remember actually when we first launched that app, I think you said you liked it too because it got you off of social media. Am I remembering that correctly?
That is correct. It was my preferred social media platform, and I went away from the others for the first little bit. We started it, and now I'm returning back to that because the others are just distractions.
It is a distraction. We all have to be on some sort of I don't know what they call it, a content diet or something like that. Like, you just have to be really mindful of the type of content and places that you engage in. And I hope, obviously, that is a encouraging and uplifting space for you. But so anyways, within that app, we'll have posts that I schedule out around different themes and that kind of thing. And usually when you put an answer that like strikes a chord with me, I'm like, let's do a show. And then it's always 2 words from you. I'm in, right? Exclamation point, which I love. And so one of those posts had to do with decision making as a superpower and something that a lot of school leaders miss. And I think school leadership, busy, busy, and you feel like you got to be making decisions rapid fire. But I found obviously best decisions, is if you could slow it down. And so the process was simple, like pick something that's pending that you want to be thinking about, write it down, right? And just start journaling about the decision, list the assumptions that you've made regarding that decision, and then challenge and question each one of those. That's the ruckus maker ethos, right? Like rejecting the premise and challenging the status quo and then making the decision. So that's the context of the decision making framework for the person listening, watching, because you can use it too. And the decision that you were going through was a collaboration time with the staff. So that's the
Right.
setup. Bring us to the moment of you making the decision and then I guess sharing it with the staff and how that went.
Sure. So just reflecting on what we're trying to do as a school site and as a district, we have built into our high school schedules and is part of our teacher contract is that we're going to have a student support period, at least two each week in your master schedule, so that students that need additional support, that tier two or tier three support
Hmm.
has that opportunity. And each of our school sites does it a little bit differently, but based in our bell schedule, we have a block schedule. So 95 minutes, odd periods one day, even periods the next, and we rotate except for Wednesdays. During those 4 days, it's a 30-minute period of time where students will either stay in that first or second period class, or they'll go to another class that they need additional help and support in. And Wednesdays, we have an early release day so that basically kids get out 2:05 each Wednesday, and then we have meeting time in the afternoon from 2:15 to 3:15. And started out last year, well, in previous years, it was 1 hour once a month. So one Wednesday a month, it'd be a full staff meeting. We had to adjust that because we're going through our accreditation phase. And what we ended up doing this year was condensing our staff meeting to 30 minutes. And before that 30 minutes, teachers had the opportunity to collaborate. Now, within our contract, we're supposed to be providing one collaboration period a week for our teachers. So we're not really meeting that. We weren't really meeting that. And so just thinking of different ways of doing that. And several of the other high schools in our district have been doing their staff meetings in the morning, or they'll schedule collaboration in the morning, some once, some twice a week. And
Hmm.
so just looking at that model, it's like, okay, I don't, and I really didn't feel like our staff meeting time, especially the 30 minutes, is conducive to getting quality work in.
Right.
And so like, okay, I think we need to change this. And so I went through the process that you mentioned when we started off with, and just like looking at the assumptions. And it's going to be a big culture shift. It's going to be hard because our staff hasn't done morning meetings in years. Like it's been done here before, but it's
Hmm.
been years. And so everyone is used to that time where, if I collaborate in the afternoon, I do what I need to do and keep it moving. But what we also went into the decision making, besides the assumption that like it's a culture shift, but we need to provide quality, I feel like professional development experience in
Hmm.
our staff meetings, to
Hmm.
where it's not just really stuff that we could put out in the email. Now,
Right.
I feel like we've been able to do that in that 30 minutes, but it's like we spit something out for 15 minutes and then have teachers do something for 15 minutes. I mean, we're utilizing the time, but it could be much more meaningful if we had a little bit more time and we're a little bit more consistent.
Gotcha.
I can keep going. I know if you want to pop in, if you have questions, please stop me. But
Yeah.
just since you asked my process, I'm going through that for everyone.
I think it matters. And a lot of people who watch or listen to this, I think a huge value of being a part of the mastermind is hearing how other school leaders think. And so you going through those steps and talking about some of the assumptions, and you hit on two notes that I want to double click on. One, making sure that PD is meaningful, And if it could be sent in email, send it in an email. You got to you figure out your system, like how you're gonna hold people accountable to make sure they're reading the email and getting that information. But yes, if you're up there just reading them the stuff that they could just understand, that is not a good use of time, right? Everybody knows this, but for some reason in education, it's like people default to, I'm going to read you the memo and it's boring, it's terrible. Even worse if you put it on the slides and then it's like 50 bullet points, then it's really crazy. And the other part is giving teachers the time to actually collaborate in a meaningful way as well, and that they get something done with that. 30 minutes, that's quick. And I'm sure maybe you get started, but hard to really conclude with the idea, and then what are you going to do after that? So no, cool. Appreciate you unpacking it. And it sounds like you did move stuff, or you're going to, if I remember correctly, you're going to move it to the morning because there was maybe a little pushback or something like that, right? With this decision.
Sure. I think with any type of change, you're going to get questions or pushback and things like that. And, the main concerns weren't really a surprise to me. I think the biggest concerns were one, those staff members that have childcare,
Yeah.
and making sure that they're able to get their kids to childcare or to school and those types of things. And then the second thing was making sure that this time will fit within the contracted hours, which
Yep.
which it does. And I understand the childcare component, and it impacts me as well because I do drop off
Right.
for my kids,
Yeah. Yeah.
and so I'm planning ahead, and that's what I hope by letting our staff know that, hey, this is going to happen next year, letting them know that in March provides them plenty of runway to figure out carpools and whatever needs to happen. And at the same time, it's going to be about 10 days in the 180 school day time frame. So I think it's reasonable. And then as I was making that decision, my assistant principals and admin team have been like, we've been at other sites and they're doing it in the mornings and it works well because you've got most folks are morning people and are ready to go in the morning. And I feel like we'll be able to do about 50 minutes and really gear our staff meetings to professional development and the things that came up. So we did a survey of
Hmm.
the staff back in October, and it's got the survey tool has a set of categories like standards that they ask the questions for. It takes about 7 minutes for them to fill out. And the questions are aligned with the ideas of a collective vision, effective systems, inclusive leadership, learning culture, transformative equity, and then trusting community. And so what I did was captured the staff. It was about 145 of my staff members, both certificated and classified, answered the questions, got the survey data back, and it was all really good. And what stood out was effective systems and learning culture and transformative equity were the ones that were like our lowest scores, where staff felt like the admin team, and that's again, the survey was about what we as an admin team can do to support our staff and their learning in our school environment and things like that. So
Got it.
what ended up happening based on that information, I used one of the GPTs, some AI, and I
Hmm.
said, "Hey, I'm a high school principal, and let me find my prompt." It was basically help me find the three main themes from this data set. And
Hmm.
so I put the all the survey results into the chat and asked for those three main themes. And what the chat came up with were, one, a need for consistent, protected collaborative time.
Hmm.
The second one was a desire for relevant and sustained professional development. And then the third one was a focus on inclusivity and transformative equity. So that was just like all the red lights going off, like, okay,
Hmm.
especially those first two, that aligns with what we need to do. And I feel like, so I think that just their data reinforced the ideas and the thought process that myself and the admin team were thinking, like, yes, we need to make sure that we are protecting their collaborative time, that they're getting it consistently, and that we're out of the way when they're doing their thing. And so I feel like the PD that we're going to do in our staff meetings, we're going to make it focused on those tier one, tier two, tier three strategies for supporting our students academically. So
Yeah.
that's where we're planning and we're focusing based on the results that the survey
Right.
provided.
Yeah. So the survey, if I heard you correctly, the survey told you they want this protected time where they can meet and collaborate, right? And it also showed you some of the content and things where you can support them in, so that that time's meaningful. And then later on when you did the journal prompt that we talked about, that helped solidify your decision to deliver on what you saw in the survey. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think going through the process of thinking about those things that were going to impact and helping me get to that final spot of the decision making, it was like, yeah, I think everything that we're pulling and everything that we're thinking about is pointing us in this direction as what we need to do to help
Yeah.
affect change on our campus.
Mm. And great use of AI too, because by the way, like the same conversation we're going to have regarding the mastermind, I've had a bunch, and I dumped those transcripts into a model and asked what are the themes, right, that people are sharing. And so I don't want to reveal those right now to you because I'm going to ask you the questions and don't want to influence how you might answer. But yeah, great minds think alike is the point there.
Absolutely.
Another question I put in the Ruckus Maker Club, a lot of times we'll ask about like a courageous step or one big thing, like what are you trying to accomplish? Or towards the end of the week, I ask about wins of the week and that kind of thing. And anyways, you commented on one of those posts that you were looking forward to share our social emotional well-being results with staff. And this is the best part. And when I said, let's do a show, our students are sharing that they are more connected with our school and what they are learning is meaningful. So the most connected they've been, and that they're learning meaningful things. So first of all, kudos, right? You want to hear that as a school leader, as a ruckus
Absolutely.
maker. What led to that? Because I mean, we've worked together for a while. We did some one-on-one coaching too. I know that wasn't necessarily like the campus you might have inherited, but here you are, right, in the fruit of your
Mhm.
labor. So, what led to those results?
I think it's been a lot of intentionality on our admin team's part about really coming together as a community and focusing on how we can grow together. We've had plenty of discussions about where we were when our team first got here, and we've had changes in the 3 years that I've been here. But consistent messaging about who we are and where we want to go, having that clear vision, and then being present. Like the biggest, I think the biggest secret, one of the biggest secrets that I found to being a successful leader and building trust in your community, in your campus,
Mm.
and building
Hmm.
connections is being present. And
What does that mean to you,
it
though?
takes like physically being present and showing up. So as you're growing as a leader, you steal things from folks that you see as working. And one of the high school principals in our district,
Mm.
we had an assistant principal meeting at his building, and when we were finishing up the meeting, it was drop off time, and I walked out front, saw him out there with his cup of coffee, greeting the kids. I was like, I like that. That's smart. So since once I became a building principal, and even sometimes when I was an assistant principal, out front greeting the families and students at drop off. And so being able to have interactions, obviously, once the kids are coming up late, you have those relationships and you have those connections. But I think one of the things is like it's super easy to be like, get to class, you're late, all those things. But it's like, hello.
Yeah,
And
right.
what because you never know. And I've seen so many things just out front. It's like, oh man, I know this kid's had a rough start.
Yeah.
I have to continue to be positive. So that's one of the things. I walk a lap around campus first thing in the morning as well after the bell rings. I pop in the hallways. So this is funny. Our campus monitors, our campus security, they call me Batman because you never
Okay.
know where I'm going to pop up. because I hate being in my office.
Yeah,
Not that I hate it, but
sure.
why do I need to be in my office when great teaching and learning is going on? And so being present is a big thing. And even the after school activities, one of the reasons why I wanted to come back to high school is because even though it's a great investment of time and being able to see students in that environment where they're competing and doing all the different things, not just competing, but performing music, drama, choir, orchestra, all those things in addition to our athletics. And like, I'll go to those, I go to those things. And so I think that presence, that consistency that we have, I think that's allowed the environment to be a lot more calm. Like it's really weird. Like I feel like my personality, my style has just like blanketed our campus, if you
Mm-hmm.
will. And
100%.
so it's super calm. It's positive for the most part. And I think our staff just knowing that our admin team is present, is here, is locked in, they're free to do their thing.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got great teaching and learning going on. And our kids, and also I want to give credit to our feeder middle schools as well,
Right.
because those teams work really hard to establish the habits, establish the culture of what it means to be a student doing the right things on a campus. And so we're just really taking up that mantle and providing what our students need, that consistency, that positive environment, and they understand more. So that
Mm.
survey that they took, which is it's a social emotional well-being survey that we've been doing since the 2021-2022 school year
Oh,
when we
wow.
came back from COVID. We've been
Mm-hmm.
doing it district wide, and every year the numbers have gotten better. Where and the way you look at the survey is the students have the almost never all the way on the left. So it's like a zero, like I
Mm-hmm.
don't
Mm-hmm.
feel connected. I don't know why I'm learning. This isn't meaningful to me, all the way to almost always. And so when you look at the almost never, those percentages have gone down every year. So more and more
Great.
of our kids are moving to the right. And so it's good. Like they understand that that school is important, that learning is important. They understand that what they're learning is important. They feel confident, more confident that they can do school, that they can do school well.
Great.
And they understand that this is a space for them. So
That's fantastic.
that's huge and a huge win to share with our community and to share with our staff.
Yeah. I knew when I was there visiting your campus, I knew that's where it was headed, right? Because walking the halls with you, you could feel that energy, and the tide shifting because it was your vision, and so then just consistently executing on it. Maybe we get along too. I think my energy with like the calmness, like that was actually I don't know if I ever told you, but the greatest compliment ever paid to me. I actually just texted the counselor I had, Michelle. She told me that Danny, you brought this calm right to our campus that we really need. They took themselves like real serious, man, like real
Mhm.
really seriously, and that's I take the work seriously, but not myself so seriously, and just brought a calming environment to the campus. And she even said it we could breathe again. I was like, wow, right? Like, and this was a middle school. This wasn't even a high school, but it was really wound up. So that was cool. But kudos to you. And the present thing is being great. And just want to double click because this is really important for a ruckus maker listening, watching. Sometimes you see that kid leaving. You're talking about drop off, right? And they're getting it as they leave the car. Maybe they deserve it. I don't know. I don't live with the family, right? But it's tense. And then they're stepping out to get to class. Why are you late? You know what I mean? It doesn't make a lot of sense. I'm not saying that kids shouldn't have consequences. They absolutely should, but you got to think about like the customer service, like the first touch, right? That parents, students, stakeholders have when they arrive on campus, and it does get frustrating and annoying. Let's say if it's a student who struggles with absenteeism and is tardy a lot, it's really tempting to read them the riot act as they walk on campus. But if you can just even pretend, we're so excited you're here, we're glad you made it, today's going to be a great day, that could change everything for the kid. And that was a shift that we always made on my campuses too. And it sounds like you're doing the same thing. So anything else you want to say about the admin team and being intentional there? Because you alluded to there has been turnover, some because of right fit, wrong fit, and some because good people get promoted, right? And they get awesome positions, and you want that. You want good people to go. So how do you maintain that consistency, or maybe upgrade your admin team, or be intentional when you do have some moving parts there?
Yeah, I think it's really important. I think that I always reflect. I mean, I know that there's a lot that I don't know and a lot of skills that I don't have. And so when I do that reflection, when it comes time to hire an assistant principal, it's like, okay, here are my strengths, here are the strengths and weaknesses of our entire team.
Hmm,
And it's like, okay, where are the gaps? And I've been extremely fortunate over these 3 years here to where inherited a brand new team, really.
sure.
There were four of us that came on all at the same time, and we worked together. We worked through a variety of different things. And then when folks got those promotions and moved on, again, reassessing, and we're like, okay, we're looking for someone that has these skills. And it's been amazing to get folks that have a variety of different skills and help help us go where we're at. And so again, I know I don't know everything, so I'm looking for the folks that can fill the gaps. We don't need five Demetriuses here on our campus. We probably wouldn't function very well.
Be a good
So
offensive line or defensive line, though.
something like that, yeah. But it's been awesome to have the ability to hire good folks, and we've had some great candidates, and we've got some right fits. And building a team is always a challenge. And so we have our moments where we got to sit down and talk through some things. But when
Sure.
we come out of that, when we come out of that room, we're aligned, and we're doing the things that are right for our staff and for our students and community.
So you explicitly tell them, like, here's our strengths as I see them on the team, and here's where we're weak. Like, you tell them that during the interview.
Not necessarily, like, if it comes up,
Hmm,
if they
hmm.
ask what we're looking for, and which is for those of you that are going through that interview process, make sure you have questions for
Absolutely. Yeah.
the panel. I have a ton of questions. And if folks ask, I'll let them know, like, hey, on our team, we've got a specific set of strengths, and we're looking to add some of these
Hmm.
ideas. Hopefully those things come up in the questions that we're asking. So
Gotcha. So you don't just, what I hear you say is you don't just offer it out there, but if they are keen enough to ask that right question, you're happy to give a candid answer.
absolutely.
All right, cool. Well, I have one more question before the break, and you brought up interviewing and that kind of thing, and we were chatting in the club about building a custom GPT because, so I launched the 90-day accelerator. It's just about creating your entry plan, the type of thing, and one of the lessons in there is a custom GPT that just helps principals with their sticky core values, and folks that have gone through that course have all been raving about that lesson specifically. I saw that as like a signal, like, this, you're onto something here. And so I'm investing in building something because, like, I've coached a lot of school leaders. I've created a ton of content, right? And you could train a bot on that stuff to support leaders just like you. You mentioned you'd find it useful to sift and sort through, like, interview candidates potentially. Anything else that you think it would make it useful, or any ways that you think you might use it?
Yeah, it's interesting as you grow as a school leader, you run into a bunch of different challenges. And so there's all different scenarios. But one of the things that I'm noticing is that, how folks deal with adversity. And so
Hmm.
trying to figure out some questions that could lend themselves to a candidate talking about or sharing about their how they deal with different challenges, because we deal with challenges when it comes to parents, we deal with challenges when it comes to coworkers, students, those types of things. And so folks that can deal with those challenges well, as far as communicate in a positive way as much as possible, and not necessarily fold up and get super defensive. So I don't know how you train a bot to do that exactly, but maybe it'll help us come up with questions that will help us discover those types of things.
Right on.
So I think that yeah, that screening thing is huge, and you want to be 100% when it comes to bringing the folks that are gonna be part of your staff and help building your culture. You're not 100%, so how can we get closer to that?
Right. Yeah. I think I could train it to do that for sure. Something I think about, I don't know if it's as I age or whatever. I feel like I'm getting more direct these days, or I just don't have time to waste. Like you see how time is so finite. So I don't know if this would work for you, but I might even say to a candidate, tell me about a tale of adversity, right? Tell me about a time that you royally messed it up and what you learned. And Demetrius, don't BS me because if you paint this rosy colored, I know you're a liar and I'm not going to hire you, right? So tell me about a time you blew it. Ready? Go. You know?
Sure.
And I might
Right.
just like lay it out there like that. I don't know if that would work for you or not, or if that'd be good advice. But I would test it, right? And just be like, shoot
Yeah.
straight with me, right? Like we all mess up. And I might model it, right? Here's the time I messed it up
Right.
and how'd you handle the adversity. So there's a story I tell these days about freaking out on my colleagues because they routed some pizza I had ordered for students to some interesting locations that weren't a part of my logistics, right, and my plan.
Hmm.
And I kind of lost my mind about it. And the punchline of the story is we had just had this incredible field trip, right? Students were just so locked in, and it was a college type experience too. And instead of enjoying that moment and pulling off this incredible field trip, I'm focused on these stupid pizzas and like probably everybody's going to be okay. And the bigger picture that I teach through that is like why did the control matter so much to me in that moment, right? And it wasn't the first time I learned to let go, but sometimes as a leader you got to learn to let go. So anyways, I got a whole 6 minute story that I do around that one. So cool. Anything else on the bot? It's okay if there's nothing else. We can pause here for a sponsor break.
I'm
All right,
good.
great. When we come back, I want to talk about admin of the year, right? But let me get these sponsor reads in. Okay. We've seen it too many times. Great school leaders burned out by busy work. It's 2025. AI should be helping, not adding more confusion. But most districts hesitate, and for good reason: data privacy concerns and practical implementation concerns. That's why we partnered with our friends over at Express Ability, who is solving both of those problems. They scrub all personally identifiable info before anything hits a large language model. And they build fast. Think AI powered apps that help your staff get answers, automate tasks, and win back time. Whether it's a chatbot answering your district's policies or automation that lifts the load on your team, this is AI that works in the real world. Want to talk about how it could work for you? Let's connect and turn your district's biggest headaches into your next success story. Visit K12ability.com today. That's K12ability.com. ODP Business Solutions, formerly Office Depot Business Solutions Division, has been a trusted partner for schools for 30 years. At ODP Business Solutions, we're by your side to meet your evolving education needs. Here's the thing about creating remarkable learning spaces: you need a partner who gets it, someone who understands that transforming education isn't just about swapping whiteboards for smartboards. It's about reimagining what's possible. That's why innovative school leaders trust ODP Business Solutions. We don't just deliver supplies, we help you design dynamic learning that make students actually excited to show up. From tech integration that brings lessons to life, to flexible furniture that transforms any space into a collaboration zone, to sustainable solutions that teach by example, we've got everything you need to do school different. And the best part, you get it from a single supplier. This helps you simplify ordering and streamlining budgeting while staying compliant with easy access to cooperative contracts. However you want to advance, ODP Business Solutions has 30 years of experience helping districts just like yours get ahead. Visit odpbusiness.com/education to learn more. Something that drove me nuts as a ruckus maker was hearing teachers say, I taught it, so those students should have learned it. But really, some teachers just don't know how to reteach so that all kids get it. That's where IXL comes in. IXL's diagnostic automatically identifies knowledge gaps for teachers and provides them with a personalized growth plan for each individual student. Teachers can step into the classroom every day knowing what their students know and what they don't know. IXL's adaptive platform makes differentiating instruction easy. As students learn, IXL adjusts to the right level of difficulty for each individual. Close knowledge gaps and accelerate learning with IXL. Get started today at ixl.com/leaders. All right, Demetrius, we're back. You're the administrator of the year 2025, right? Of your region. That was super cool when I saw, I think it was on LinkedIn. I probably caught that one. I don't know if that was a surprise for you or if there's like a whole process that they give you a warning ahead of time, but you did it. You won it. Tell us about getting it and what does it mean to you? And congrats. Congratulations.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. We were nominated by our district for the Region Association of California School Administrators, AXA. We're in Region 6, which encompasses 2 counties. And so our district nominated different administrators for each of the different categories. And I was one selected by the district. So that was really cool. And then that was back in November, I believe. And then shortly after that nomination from the district, we found out who was selected. And so that was pretty cool to get that recognition. But and it's humbling. I feel like when you're walking in your purpose and you're doing what you're called to do, it's not really work. So I don't feel like I'm doing anything extra special than besides what I'm called to do. And it's cool to get the recognition. And so we actually have the awards for the region tomorrow night, the
Oh,
dinner and
okay.
everything. Yeah,
Bow
so
tie?
that's
You
pretty
going in a bow
cool.
tie or?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know, maybe. But then, we'll actually, so we're supposed to find out the state winners on next Monday. So by the time this airs, we'll know
Wow.
whether or not.
Yeah.
So I don't even know how many regions there are in the state, but I'm going up for that, and it'll be cool to see what that. Regardless, if I
Yeah.
win the next level, it's an awesome honor.
Yeah, big time. Cool. Do you get what do you get? You get a mug, you get a BMW or something in between? What?
I think you get a plaque and
Okay.
a dinner.
And dinner.
So
Okay.
that'll be cool.
Great.
And dinner.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice. Well, yeah, super proud. You definitely deserve the recognition. You're doing great stuff. If it's okay with you, I'd like to ask a couple questions. I'm asking all of the mastermind members, and I thought since we're already recording, might as well just put it out there for the world. So, good, bad, ugly. You don't need to try to make the mastermind sound awesome because, like, I'll ask you how can it improve, and yeah, just be real. And I could tell, right? No BS. I can tell if you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's right.
Um, so when you make time for the mastermind, what are you hoping to get from it?
I am looking to continue to strengthen my community. It can be really lonely as a school administrator, school
Mm.
leader, because one of the things that I learned early is you can't brainstorm with everybody because folks will take what you said in a moment of like, I'm thinking about this, and they'll say, oh, we're doing this, and start to tell
We're doing.
everyone we're doing it. So it is great to have community and to be able to brainstorm and share ideas, but then like we're learning together as well. So I always love to hear the different tools that folks are using, different strategies,
Mm,
what folks are learning. So it's a great learning opportunity. It's a great opportunity to build community.
right on. Thank you. How do you decide whether you can attend a call or not?
Oof. I want to attend every single one. It's on my calendar, so that's the goal. But sometimes there are meetings that interrupt it. For the most part, most of the folks in my group are on the East Coast or Midwest, and
Hmm.
so fortunately, like it's like bumps up right against the end of our school day, our meetings, and so sometimes there are things that'll extend into our meeting time, but I always want to attend the mastermind.
Okay. If you could change one thing about how we structured our support, what would you change?
That's a tough one. I think that the the ability it feels like it's different almost every week
Hmm.
because of our rotations of who's facilitating and who's on the hot seat. And so we do have pretty standard agenda, but then we go off agenda all the time and bring in new things. And so I love that we're adaptable learners as educators. And it's like sometimes the hot seat's got to run long just because it's such a good one.
Hmm.
Or so it's I love and I think everyone is creative when it comes to their time to lead and facilitate. So I like when we made that change to the rotation of facilitators, I think that really upped the value, upped the experience. So I don't know if there's anything that I would necessarily change because again, it's different every week, and I think that that's cool.
All right. If you could trade some of the group mastermind sessions for one-on-one coaching, would that be valuable? Or how valuable would that be? So, zero value or extremely valuable or something in between?
I think it'd be in between
Hmm.
because there are weeks like since we rotate the hot seat, there are weeks that oh I really have something, and getting some one-on-one coaching will be valuable. And at the same time, again, it goes back to the format. Like sometimes folks will be like, "Hey, you know, I know I don't have the hot seat, but is it okay if I get some feedback on this?"
Hmm.
And we're
Hmm.
able to adjust and do that. So I feel like one-on-one coaching will be useful, and the mastermind provides the flexibility. And again, everyone's there to learn, and no one wants to hog the whole session. So it provides that flexibility when you need something, the group is there for you.
Thank you. Obviously, you have experienced the weekly cadence. I've been asking people, would there be value in going to like a twice a week, twice a month model or once a month or quarterly?
Mm. I like the weekly model, even though based on how my schedule is, I don't make every single week. But just knowing that I have that group to go to every week is comforting and gives me some like when there's nothing else to be excited about. Like I know Wednesday at 4:30 Pacific time, we're getting together as the
Yep.
guiding principles.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody hates the monthly or quarterly idea. And most people want to stick with the weekly. Let me ask you this though. So let's say you got a crazy week and you're not going to make you be able to make it. If you had access to other mastermind groups and that was an option, like oh you could attend a different one because of the schedule conflict, would that be helpful or meaningful?
That would be cool. That would be helpful as well, I think. And I don't think I think every member that joins and we get members, new members periodically. Everyone has been eager to learn and contribute. And so I think that getting someone new or and being able to contribute to a new group would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I think Amy just joined your group if I remember correctly. Because what I'm thinking in the club, there's each, well, you probably don't see this because you're in the guiding principles, but you can imagine every cohort has their own space. Plus, there's a mastermind space. I was thinking of just potentially getting rid of that and in the mastermind space saying this week, here's the 10 cohorts we have. Go to the one that you usually go to, but if you have a conflict, you can RSVP or pop in another. So that was something I was thinking.
Mhm.
And your group's already full. I was asking people if they'd like a larger group, but that really covers it. So, any other feedback mastermind wise that you want to share?
I really love it. This is the best investment that I've made when it comes to my leadership. I think that the books that we read have been really good. I can't. What was that one super long one? I don't think I finished it, but it was years ago. It was years ago. But I mean, the books have been great, and it's not. They're not educational leadership books, and they've been great tools to have and be able to share ideas with those that I work with and come in contact with. I think you've been very receptive to feedback and opening up different groups and bringing on coaches to lead and everything like that. And I think that your vision has been really good for us as participants in the mastermind. So I encourage folks that are listening or watching that are interested, reach out because it's been a game changer for me. I don't know if I'd be principal of the year if it weren't for the folks that I'm connected with in the mastermind and am able to get ideas from and share ideas with.
From the bottom of my heart, Demetrius, thank you for everything.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Hey, Ruckus Makers, thanks again for pressing play. I hope you enjoyed the show as much as I enjoyed creating it for you. And before you go, if today's episode shifted something in you so that you want to do school different, or maybe you have a new idea about how to reimagine education on your campus, then check out My Principal Coach. It's your AI-powered leadership mentor. It's trained on 10 years of mastermind and private coaching experience that I've had. It's like having a world-class ruckus maker mentor in your pocket 24/7. You can start your free 7-day trial at myprincipalcoach.com.